There is a manuscript sitting in a European archive right now, carbon dated to the early 15th century, that contains a detailed coastal map of a landmass no European navigator had reached for another 100 years. The vellum is real. The date is confirmed. The geography should not be there. By the time we reach number 1 on this list, everything you think you know about who was writing, where, and when will need to be reconsidered. Number 10. A manuscript held in a private European collection, examined in the 1990s by a team of paleographers working under institutional oversight, was submitted for radiocarbon dating at a Swiss laboratory. The result came back, placing the vellum firmly in the late 13th century. The problem is that the text references administrative practices and territorial boundaries that historians did not formally document until the mid-16th century. That is a gap of roughly 250 years. The laboratory stood by its methodology. No one has reconciled the two findings. Number 9. For decades, the Voynich manuscript has resisted every serious decipherment attempt thrown at it. The most recent coordinated academic effort, a computational linguistics analysis published in the early 2020s, concluded that the text displays statistical properties consistent with a natural language, meaning it almost certainly carries meaning. But what meaning in what language, constructed by whom, remains entirely open. As of 2026, no institution has cracked a single confirmed word. Number 8. One manuscript housed in a Central Asian archive contains star charts that accurately plot the position of a celestial body whose existence was not formally confirmed by Western astronomy until the mid-19th century, a gap of over 400 years between the manuscript's dated composition and the official discovery. The scholar who first flagged this discrepancy spent 11 years trying to find a simpler explanation. She never published one. Number 7. A manuscript in a monastic collection in southern Europe survived a fire in the 16th century that destroyed everything around it. The binding material, tested by a conservator at a major university in the 1980s, showed no heat damage consistent with the documented temperature of that fire. It should not exist in its current condition. The monastery's own records confirm the fire's severity. Number 6. One manuscript describes in precise detail an irrigation technique that archaeologists spent generations assuming was a medieval innovation. Excavations completed in the early 2020s confirmed the technique was in active use nearly 800 years before those medieval engineers were born. The manuscript predates the confirmation by roughly 6 centuries. And remember, number 1 makes all 5 of these look like minor discrepancies. The timeline doesn't just bend from here, it breaks. Out of the 6 entries so far, which anomaly unsettles you more? The star charts that predate the official discovery by 400 years? Or the manuscript that somehow survived a fire that destroyed everything around it? Drop your answer in the comments below. Either way, what's coming in the top 5 is considerably harder to dismiss. Number 5. A manuscript housed in the Vatican Apostolic Archive. One of the most rigorously cataloged collections in the world was formally accessible to outside researchers until the 1970s, when access was quietly restricted to a narrow category of credentialed clergy. No public explanation was issued. Scholars who had previously cited it in published work found their requests for re-examination declined without stated reason. The restriction has never been lifted. Institutional silence, in a collection that prides itself on transparency, is itself evidence. Number 4. 2 completely separate ancient cultures, one from the Eastern Mediterranean, one from pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, with no documented contact between them, each produced manuscripts describing an identical celestial event, a prolonged darkening of the sky accompanied by a specific sequence of atmospheric changes, recorded in the same chronological order. The overlap is not metaphorical. The structural sequence matches across both texts. No trade route, no shared oral tradition, no plausible mechanism of transmission has ever been proposed that satisfies both the dating and the geography. Number 3. A manuscript whose physical construction required a binding adhesive that materials scientists, in a peer-reviewed study published in 2018, confirmed was chemically impossible to produce using any organic compound available in the region before the 12th century. The manuscript is dated to the 9th. The scholar who led that materials analysis described the finding as an open problem with no current resolution. Number 2. In the 1950s, a named European institution formally declared one manuscript a forgery, a verdict that stood for decades and effectively removed it from serious academic consideration. Then, in 2009, new multispectral imaging revealed ink oxidation patterns physically inconsistent with any forgery technique available before the 20th century. The institution quietly commissioned a re-examination. It has not issued a revised public verdict. Number 1. There is a manuscript that fails every test the official timeline sets. Its vellum dates to a period before the language it is written in was documented as existing. Its content describes geographic features confirmed only by satellite imaging in the late 20th century. Its provenance passed through at least 3 institutions, one of which has since denied ever holding it, before arriving in a private collection that has declined every request for independent analysis. Researchers who have examined photographs of it disagree on the script family, the date, the origin, and the purpose. They agree on one thing: the document is not a modern fabrication. Beyond that, there is no consensus. As of 2026, no academic body has published a framework that accounts for all of its anomalies simultaneously. These manuscripts exist. They have been tested by laboratories, examined by paleographers, and held in the hands of credentialed scholars. And the official timeline, the one that tells us who knew what, and when, and where, has not produced a clean explanation for any of them. Only the documents themselves remain, sitting in archives waiting. Some questions don't get answered, they just get older. Subscribe if you want more like this, and watch this one next.